We live in an age of information, right? We're creating more of it every single second than ever before, but this is creating this huge invisible problem. It's not about making the data, it's about where on earth we're going to keep it all. Okay, let's dive into this, because the solutions are, and I'm not kidding, straight out of science fiction. So that really is the big question here. Think about it. Every photo you snap, every video you stream, it's all just piling up into this digital mountain that's growing exponentially. And the stakes? They're huge. So how in the world are we going to solve this data tsunami before we just run out of room?
All right, let's put a number on this. By the end of 2024, the total amount of data created and consumed globally is expected to hit 149 zettabytes. That's 149 with 21 zeros after it.
Yeah, I mean, a number that big is kind of hard to wrap your head around, right?
So let's try to make it a little more real.
Okay, so to get a picture of what that actually looks like, imagine this. If you could somehow scoop up every single data center on Earth, these giant, power-guzzling warehouses, and put them all in one place, they'd cover an area of nearly 60 square kilometers. We're talking about the size of Manhattan, an entire city just humming with servers, holding all our digital stuff.
Okay, so that brings us to the first, and honestly, mind-blowing solution. To solve this planet-sized problem, scientists are looking at something microscopic. Yeah, forget silicon, forget spinning hard drives. The future? It might just be biological.
So let's zoom way in. I mean, from a whole city of servers, down to a single drop of blood. It sounds crazy, right? But inside this tiny little drop is a storage potential that just blows our current tech out of the water.
Get this, the DNA in that single drop of blood, it can theoretically hold 376 gigabytes of data. That's like 100 times what you can fit on a regular DVD. All your movies, all your music, all your photos, stored in something you can't even see with the naked eye. Wild. Okay, so what happens when we scale that idea up? So to store all of that data we talked about, all 149 zettabytes of it for 2024, we'd only need the DNA from about 0.05% of the entire human blood supply on Earth. That's less than 1/10 of 1%. The efficiency is it's almost unbelievable.
Here's another way to wrap your head around it. The DNA in just one average adult could store the entire Library of Congress, not once, but 750 times over. It turns out our own biology is, hands down, the most incredible data storage device in the known universe.
So, DNA gives us this incredible density. But there's another technology that offers something even more profound: immortality. I mean, what if we could build an archive that could literally last until the end of time?
So, say hello to 5D Optical Glass. And yeah, its nickname is Superman memory crystals. And honestly, that's not even an exaggeration. This tech uses these ultra-precise lasers to etch data right into the nanostructure of quartz glass. It encodes it in 5 dimensions. It's super durable, it's tiny, and its lifespan is just staggering.
Okay, brace yourself for this one. The archival life is rated for 13.8 billion years. That is the age of the universe. We're talking about a way to store information that could outlast our planet, our sun, maybe even our galaxy. It's a way to leave our mark, to preserve what we know for civilizations that haven't even been born yet.
So this chart really puts it all in perspective. Just look at the difference here. Our good old spinning disks, they take up a city's worth of space. They guzzle power even when they're just sitting there, and they're lucky to last 10 years. But DNA and 5D glass, they need practically zero power to maintain. They fit in a tiny little space, and their durability is measured in, well, millennia and billions of years. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a whole new ballgame.
So we've got these incredible, world-changing technologies. But tech doesn't build itself, right? Which leads to the next big question. Who? Who are the visionaries, the architects who are actually going to build this future and bring this stuff to the whole world?
Well, to figure out who's going to build the future, it helps to look at where the big money and influence are coming from right now. And over the last 10 years, the industry is churning out the most billionaires have been finance, tech, and manufacturing. It's right there, at that intersection, deep technology, huge amounts of cash, and the ability to scale up production, that's where this next data revolution is going to be born.
And look, the playbook for how you turn this kind of tech into a real business, it's pretty well known. There are really two main paths. Path one, you found a breakout startup. You solve a huge problem like this data crisis, and you keep a big piece of the pie. Path two, you join a super high-growth company, a unicorn, early on, and your equity just explodes in value.
So, what's the blueprint for one of these world-changing companies? Well, it all starts with the core IP. You have to own the foundational tech, whether it's the synthetic biology for DNA storage or the laser physics for 5E glass. Next, you've got to build these amazing interdisciplinary teams. We're talking scientists, engineers, maybe even philosophers. Then you get the money from VCs who actually get deep tech. And finally, you scale. And you don't just scale by selling a thing. You scale by creating a platform that the entire industry ends up building on top of.
Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second and think about the big picture here. Because this isn't just about making better hard drives. When you put all this together, you're looking at the blueprint for what comes next. A post-digital civilization. A world where that line between information and life itself starts to get really, really blurry.
And that's the real endgame here. The goal isn't just to store our files in DNA. It's to create living, breathing information ecosystems. And building archives that last forever? It's not just about saving the past. It's about creating a future where knowledge itself becomes immortal, where it can actually propagate on its own. And all of this leaves us with one last kind of heavy question. With tech that gives us basically infinite storage and lasts forever, the problem isn't where do we put it all anymore. The problem becomes, what do we save? So if our collective memory could actually last forever, what would we choose to remember?